I wish I had the time and the resources and most of all the talent to just be like a full-time YouTube guy. But, such is life. When you actually have a life, you got to live that life. Full-time job, full-time family. Anyway, if I could just do a few minutes every week or every other week, that'd be great. Maybe I'll get to that point. But I do this when I can to the 3 or 4 people out there who may actually see it just for fun, because I like to. And this something's going on today between the Daily Wire and Steven Crowder that just had to say something. First off, let me start and say I don't like the infighting. I think both sides could probably back off a little bit. We could use our energy, not because the liberals are having a field day with it. I don't care about them. I think our side should be focused on not fighting each other and put the energies to better use. That being said, both sides do have valid points. I get where the Daily Wire is coming from. I get where Steven Crowder is coming from. Candace Owens over there, I know you're trying to back up the Daily Wire because you're on the contract with them, but Steven Crowder's not making a bitch move. He didn't name Daily Wire. I want to come back to that at the end. Who's doing the bitch move, if anybody. But that kind of stuff, that kind of rhetoric, that doesn't need to have. Crowder didn't out the Daily Wire. They outed themselves. He didn't name figures as far as overall salary. All that being said, I'm with Crowder on this. I don't think there's really anybody who's right or wrong. I think, though, that Crowder has a more legitimate point than Daily Wire. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to go back to the king, Rush Limbaugh. Yes, Daily Wire is running a business, and they have to make money. They have to be profitable. And Limbaugh always said that. What he was doing, had a business model to run off of. And it's why the liberals who tried, when they did that Airhead America, that tried to go head-to-head with Limbaugh and talk radio, it failed because they were simply only trying to push an agenda. They didn't have a real good business model. Nobody wanted to listen to Alec Baldwin. So he had a business model. Yes, but the way to make money, the way to a good business is to focus on the product. You can water down your product, cut costs, cut corners, and put out something cheap and try to get just, bulk. Or you can come out with something that's a quality product, that's better, that's not cutting corners, it's not watering down. And maybe those analogies aren't perfect for the scenario, but I think you get the idea. And what Crowder, it wouldn't be a good fit with Daily Wire anyway. I didn't really think it was Daily Wire to begin with. I guess I was wrong. I was, not surprised, not shocked at any of this, but not a good fit there. Daily Wire wants to play within the rules and the boundaries of YouTube to make money. Got it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a sin. But what are you compromising by trying to kiss the ring of the Silicon Valley tech social media overlords? Crowder's trying to push back against that, and he can't do that, and he can't be genuine if he's can't take a risk of getting a strike or being suspended. He's already been demonetized. I'm not worried about there. And I think the big thing, if he's not on YouTube, we can't make him. Well, he's going to bring more subscribers to that's his value. So I get bringing value to the table to get paid, but he would bring it in a different way. He's not an up-and-comer. He's not someone that needs the Daily Wire to get recognized. He would bring more people, more mug clubbers to the Daily Wire. That would be the value he adds. But something else Limbaugh said, and that is talking about being sincere and being genuine. Like he would often talk about every now and then he would bring up some party he's at, and some guy would say, you gotta back off on these social issues. You gotta talk to these Christians. They'll listen to you. You gotta back off on the abortion. Abortion is killing us. It's like, no, I can't do that. It'd be disingenuous. Yeah, and people would notice. And Limbaugh would have definitely gotten a lot of praise, and his stock would have gone up immediately in the immediate time after he did something like that, if he were to have done that. The liberal legacy media would have said, oh, yeah. Limbaugh is this great, he can be reasonable at times, and they would sing his praises, but in the long term, it wouldn't have been good. He would have lost his audience. So I think Daily Wire's playing the short game. They're short-sighted. They're not, if the game is rigged and the rules are unfair because they're being made up as they go along, change the rules, change the game. And that's what Crowder's trying to do. Crowder's trying to play the long game. And if he's successful, him and others like him are successful, and they change the game and they change the rules and they get, say, Rumble to be on par or surpass YouTube, a Daily Wire, you're going to profit from that too. You're going to benefit from that, but you're not going to be able to take the credit. It's not going to be you who does it, because you've already said you're not interested in that. And fine, you can hold that ground. You can hold that fort and don't leave your comfort zone. But that's not the way to gain ground. Holding ground and gaining ground are two different things. Daily Wire is just holding ground. Crowder's trying to gain ground. And that's why I mentioned Candace Owens' comment about Steven Crowder being the bitch move. If anybody's being the bitch, it's Daily Wire for being a bitch to the YouTube rules and not allowing people to push back and have that freedom to be genuine. Because if Crowder's genuine, he's gonna risk a strike or a suspension. So, I mean, like Limbaugh said, he had to play that long game too early on in his when he was trying to establish the network, the syndication. There were markets, there were stations that were willing to pay the going rate for his show, the rights for his show to be aired in that market, and then shelve it. They were gonna not air it because they had something else that they were airing in that time slot, and they didn't want it to compete. That was money on the table Limbaugh had to walk away from, because it wouldn't have expanded his network and his syndication in the long term. Short term, it would have been money in the bank. But long term, that's not the way you expand. So, one other thing Limbaugh said is, if the content is good, people will go to where the content is. And Steven Crowder, if you're one of the 4 or 5 people, and that may be a stretch, who actually see this, I go where you go, because your show is number one in my book. Since Limbaugh has passed away, you're the king. You've got the best show. There's some things I disagree with here and there, and because of that, probably people out there, I know there's people out there who have shows and do this for a living that I agree with more. But here's where you're Limbaugh-esque. You combine that humor and irreverency with serious discussion and information, daily news, and that commentary. It's captivating. It holds in my attention. I'm the poster child for ADD. I am on the spectrum somewhere. So props to Ben Shapiro. He's great too, but the show is just not as captivating as someone like Limbaugh or Crowder, with that entertainment factor that goes into it. Crowder's very Limbaugh-esque. I mean, they told Limbaugh what he wanted to do wasn't going to work. They said, you can't have a nationally syndicated political talk show host. You need guests. All politics is local, so on and so forth. They told Crowder his the change my mind stuff wouldn't work, so on and so forth. Out of the box thinking, and that's what's required. Daily Wire is in the box with their thought process and their model, And okay, you know, I'm not gonna. I subscribe to both. I got the Liberal Tears mug, and I got the Mug Club mug. And I like what Daily Wire is doing with the movies. I like Terror on the Prairie, and I hope to see more of that. So anyway, that's all I got for now. Be excellent to each other. Daily Wire, Steven Crowder, be excellent to each other. Sic Semper Tyrannis, and long live the Republic.